because the Earth's horizon, 1,700 miles behind the shuttle, is still in total darkness. Does this finally prove that our dot is physically in the atmosphere at the Earth's horizon? Almost, but not quite. The proof came from the Analytical Sciences Corporation in Reading, Massachusetts, courtesy of my colleague and co-investigator on this problem, Dr. Mark Carlotto. You might recall it was Mark's imaging techniques and fractal analysis which has provided the substance of much of the Cydonia investigation. Using state-of-the-art computer technology, taking the NASA video apart literally frame by frame, Mark developed the conclusive evidence to complete our case. The proof involves something that so far we haven't talked about. In fact, as far as we know, no one's discussed this in any of the video presentations of the data. If you look carefully at the monitor, you'll see that in the upper right-hand portion of the screen, in that area of space, that dark, dark background, there are glowing things, glowing dots. These dots are stars, light years, literally, beyond the horizon and beyond the Earth itself. Those dots are moving downward because the shuttle is moving toward you in Earth orbit, and basically the stars are setting behind the atmosphere of Earth. If we look carefully at those glowing dots, we see that we can match the trails over very long periods of time, 10, 20 minutes, and they do not change direction. At the flash, this peculiar brightening of the television screen that we've been examining now for some time, what we see after the flash is that those star trails continue to move down unchanged. NASA's explanation for the flash is that you're seeing a thruster firing aboard the shuttle. If this were true, the thruster firing would change the attitude of the entire shuttle and therefore the direction of the setting stars. Since this does not occur, this cannot be the explanation for what we've been observing. The other reason the stars are important has to do with what Mark discovered in terms of comparing their brightness to our little dot. What I have here is a little simulation of our object, and what I'm going to do is to move it down behind this simulation of the Earth as it appeared that night in orbit far above our planet. Way out there, some 1,700 miles away, is our space shuttle. If I bring this glowing object down representing starlight, notice what occurs. As the star passes down behind the atmosphere of Earth, it changes brightness, and when it goes behind the solid planet, it disappears entirely. Exactly what should occur with something light years distant behind the planet we are living on. However, let's look at what happened when our little dot appeared. It came up from behind the Earth in our current model, moved along the curved horizon, such as this, and when it got to this point after 15 seconds, the flash occurred. It then zoomed sharply upward through the air glow layer and onward into space. Now notice what happens as it goes behind the air glow. What Mark discovered is that, like the stars, it brightened, and then it dimmed on leaving the Earth's atmosphere. Since starlight is coming from light years farther from the shuttle than the Earth, these two brightness sources add the air glow and the stars. By the same reasoning, since our object was brightened as it passed across this air glow layer, the calculations say that this object had to also be at least as far away from the space shuttle as the air glow, therefore fixing its distance in terms of simple physics as 1,700 miles away. Since we have now established beyond any reasonable doubt this fascinating object's distance from the shuttle, the rest is easy, if slightly unbelievable. Our little dot is in fact drifting along at a leisurely pace of some 15 miles per second. That's about 54,000 miles per hour. We say it's drifting because when you see our little target object react to that peculiar flash that you're quite familiar with by now, the undisputed star of our update accelerates in less than 2 seconds to over 200,000 miles per hour. And for those of you who may be wondering how many G's this little guy experiences when it accelerates in reaction to that flash, its numbers clock out at a cool 14,000 times the Earth's gravitational acceleration. A force of 14,000 G's is roughly equivalent to dropping a 10-story building on top of you. 200,000 miles per hour in less than 2 seconds, 14,000 G's. Obviously, nothing in our space technology can even begin to approach numbers like this and have pilots survive. In fact, nothing in our known laws of physics provides for propulsive performances and capabilities such as those we've just observed. But this is well within, in fact, it is implicit in any hyperdimensional technologies capable of literally altering gravity. Based on the laws of physics, we believe we have now carefully decoded in the monuments of Mars and in our ancient artifacts on Earth. So what about that flash and those two streaks? Some UFO enthusiasts claim that what you're seeing are shots from some kind of Star Wars weapon system firing at alien spaceships bent on Earth invasion. I think not. Based on reasoning similar to what we've just exhaustively described, we have calculated the actual velocities of these two peculiar streaks of light. They are indeed consistent with a much publicized Star Wars weapon system from the Pentagon called brilliant pebbles, essentially a high-tech shotgun burst of thousands of tiny plastic pellets, accelerated to about 1,000 miles per second by an electromagnetic accelerator called a railgun. If this is true, the flash you're seeing is not light. It's an effect in the camera created by the electromagnetic pulse that accelerates the brilliant pebbles. Quite a weapon, but no match for a vehicle capable of nimbly darting away at over 14,000 Gs, as we've seen. The target, you now see why we've been calling our little glowing dot by this peculiar name, in fact evades this shot with ease. This and a host of other actions by all the other anomalous dots present in this sequence, which we haven't time to talk about, has led us to this amazing conclusion, that the shuttle cameras that night somehow showed us an active Star Wars weapon system in Earth orbit, and the system is using our own American hyperdimensional technology for target practice. So I don't think we're seeing a battle in outer space at all. But I do think this remarkable video sequence is evidence of a different kind of battle inside NASA. Why did we get to see what we have seen? Our explanation is that someone very highly placed inside the agency wanted us to see this sequence live and arranged for the shuttle to literally beam it to the entire world on live TV that night. A truly extraordinary leak of what has to be the world's most secret military program. This is not just wild-eyed speculation. There is a document which was uncovered in the 1980s, declassified by the Air Force from the Wright-Patterson Technical Library in Ohio, that in fact reveals in the 1950s, for approximately 10 or 20 years, this nation, all the major aerospace companies were engaged in research on electrogravitic technology. Electrogravitics is basically the control of gravity. In 1958, after a special conference arranged among all these players by the Air Force, all reference to this technology in the open literature disappeared. But underground, quietly, with secret black budgeted money, who knows what by now these people and these processes could have developed. In fact, it's possible that you have just seen what 30 years of monies have procured. We don't know all the facts as yet. But since this video sequence of the space outside the shuttle was beamed live to Earth in September of 1991, all subsequent transmissions from any of the outside shuttle cameras on all recent shuttle flights have electronically been scrambled. And now we're told we will not be seeing Mars on live TV. This is unconscionable. But in this country, in this nation, because of our Constitution, it is not unchangeable, and you can change it. Simply write to Congressman George Brown. I'm Richard Hoagland. Thank you for watching.